Aperture is one of the most fundamental concepts in photography, serving as a crucial control for how your images look and feel. At its core, the aperture is an adjustable opening inside your camera's lens that regulates how much light enters and reaches the camera's sensor. But beyond simply controlling exposure, aperture plays a vital role in shaping the depth of field, the range of the image that appears sharp and in focus. To understand aperture, think of it as the pupil of your eye. When it's dark, your pupils widen to let in more light. In bright environments, they constrict. Similarly, a lens's aperture can open wide or narrow down, and this size is measured in what's called f numbers or f-stops. These numbers, such as f2.8, f5.6, or ff16, might seem a bit counterintuitive at first. The lower the f number, the wider the aperture. The higher the f number, the narrower the aperture. Now, let's dive into how this impacts depth of field. Depth of field refers to the zone within your image that appears acceptably sharp. A shallow depth of field means that only a small part of your image, usually your subject, is in focus, while the rest, particularly the background, becomes beautifully blurred. This effect is often used in portrait photography to draw attention to a person's face while softly blending the background. A larger depth of field, on the other hand, means that more of the scene, from foreground to background, appears sharp and clear, which is often desired in landscape photography. So, how does aperture come into play? When you use a lower f number like f2.8, the aperture is wide open. This lets in more light, which is great for low-light situations, but more importantly, it creates a shallow depth of field. The result is a striking separation between your subject and the background, with the background rendered in a smooth, creamy blur known as bokeh. This technique is beloved in portraiture, macro photography, and situations where you want your subject to stand out. Conversely, if you use a higher f number, such as f16, the aperture narrows. This lets in less light, requiring either a longer exposure or higher ISO to achieve the correct exposure. The benefit, however, is a much greater depth of field. More of the scene, from objects near your camera all the way to the horizon, will appear in sharp focus. This is ideal for situations where you want to capture as much detail as possible, such as sweeping landscapes, architectural photography, or group shots where everyone needs to be in focus. It's important to note that aperture doesn't work in isolation. Focal length, distance to your subject, and sensor size also influence depth of field. For instance, a wide-angle lens at f2.8 will still have more in focus than a telephoto lens at the same aperture. Similarly, the closer you are to your subject, the shallower your depth of field becomes, even at the same f number. Mastering aperture control gives you creative power. It allows you to guide your viewers' attention, isolate subjects, or capture rich detail throughout your scene. By understanding how different f numbers affect depth of field, you can make deliberate choices to achieve the photographic look you envision. So, whether you're aiming for a dreamy portrait with a softly blurred background or a crisp landscape where every leaf is rendered in sharp detail, aperture is the key tool that brings your vision into focus.